Hmm. We live. I'm just gonna go live and test a couple of things while I am mainly on YouTube and Instagram. Both. It's finally got it to where I want it to be, and this is a first. So we're gonna see how well we do. Let's see how well we do. Um, let's look at some old wrinkly ass footage of Trump. Did and apparently, apparently, he has his own coin out now. So I'm not shocked at that. Remember, he was talking about the pen yesterday. Well, apparently, he was talking about getting his own coin. He already signed it. This dude is crazy. He really wants that attention that bad. He really wants attention that bad. Let's see what he's got.
That is finally free at last from Iranian terror, aggression, and blackmail. That's what's happened. It was nuclear blackmail for years. And beyond that, there was blackmail period. Under my leadership, America is ending the threat posed by this radical regime, decimating Iran's capabilities with Operation Epic Fury, something that nobody's ever seen anything quite like it. We have the most powerful military in the world by far. I built it in my first term. Remember, I said $1 trillion. They all said, what do you mean $1 trillion? $1 trillion. Every year, another trillion the next, another trillion. We have the best people. We have by far the best equipment. We have weapons nobody's ever seen before. We have weapons that nobody even knows about, except for a few of us. For 47 years, Iran has been known as the bully of the Middle East, but they are not the bully any longer. They're on the run. Last June, America's armed forces obliterated Iran's key nuclear facilities in one of the most spectacular military actions of all time. Nobody has ever seen anything like it. In the dead of night, no moon, 1 o'clock in the morning, we went in. It was called Operation Midnight Hammer. And every single one of those bombs hit their mark, airshafts, and I promise you that. They went right down that granite mountain through airshafts. Most incredible you've ever seen, that obliteration. One of the networks said, well, maybe it wasn't that bad. It was that bad. Turned out to be even more than we thought. But after that attack, the Iranian lunatics refused to cease their nuclear weapons. And I have to say, before that, Barack Hussein Obama, did you ever hear of him? Barack Obama, he to Iran. Remember, he sent two Boeing 757 jet liners. They took the seats out and they piled it with cash. Like 1.7 billion. When you can do that, I haven't done that yet. I haven't found it, but that's big. Bank in D.C., Virginia, or Maryland that had any money after that disaster. But they sent the cash to Iran. But more importantly, they signed an agreement, the Iran nuclear deal, which, if I didn't terminated in my first term. I terminated it. Had a nuclear weapon. And you know the Middle East because when you look at
Little does he know, and little does he care that these people are making fun of him. Of course, there's going to be people who are laughing with him, but there are going to be people who are laughing at him right now. It's like you believe all these things, Trump is all right. But then again, listen, I am not an Iran supporter, but I am conscious to know that I have nothing to do with that side. It's these American people and this American president that believes in what he is doing, and he believes sanely that he believes in these things. He believes that he's winning. The rest of America does no. What are we winning? What are we winning? And I look around and I just see a high price of living. That's what I see under this presidency. And once again, can't even get Barack Obama's name out of his mouth. I'm just asking some things. Why are you see, 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 see? Can't even. No one has a nuclear weapon. Obama made sure of that when he signed the deal. But I digress. Well, here's the, I'm gonna do I'm gonna test it out again, and I'm gonna go on to a different um, server. This is not Firefox. This is, I don't know what the hell this thing is. Let me see. This is, it doesn't even say, but I'll just go to a different server next time and make sure my shit is clear and that I'm streaming on Firefox instead of this one right here. That's why it's so glitchy. I hear you. Wait, hold on. See? Okay. Now, okay. Now I see what you mean. Now it's now I see what you mean. Okay. Now I see what you mean. Well, let's try it again. Now I see what you mean. Let's try this again.
All sunk at the bottom of the Gulf and elsewhere. Did you see the attack submarine that we have went after one of their boats? It was called the Soleimani. It was the pride of their fleet. But this attack submarine goes like 60 miles an hour. I'd never saw anything. And it caught them in about 2 minutes. And that was the end of the Soleimani. No, then they're 100%
Got
dead.
it.
They have 22 mine droppers. They go on mine droppers. And the mine droppers, 22, all 22 are.
Okay. He's starting to bore me. Um, just wanted to test that part out. So, and while Instagram is running, and while Instagram is running, not bad. Now, I get, let me search. Sure. let me test something else out. Yeah, once it clicks back, once I stop it and I click it back, then no problems, no problems at all. It's weird how these streams work. It's just weird, very, very, very weird. All right, Mike. What was it? Mike Johnson. Mike Johnson is his name. Mike Johnson. Delusional Trump. Uh, Late night snack. Yeah, won't be entertaining this shit for very long, I tell you that. I need to learn more about these trick bags since you got me, doing this shit. I gotta learn more. This is too, here's the interesting part, Barb. You know what the interesting part is? You're having me read something now. I don't know what I'm reading. I don't know what I'm reading. I don't know where to pick up a paper. I don't know to pick up a magazine. What am I supposed to be doing? So I just try to do both. I try to do both. I'm trying, like, what am I looking for? Because apparently these people get the news and information before I do. Here's what it is. So let's see what Mr. Speaker of the House has to say. Trick bag.
We are going to deport dangerous criminal illegal aliens because it is a basic function of the government. The Democrats fundamentally disagree. The Senate Democrats have hoisted upon this appropriations process their radical, crazy agenda. We call it crazy because that's what it is. They want to reopen the borders, and they want to stop the deportation of dangerous criminal illegal aliens. We have to do these basic functions of government. We have to fund them in order to do them.
Can somebody
in the last
fire
days,
him?
we have recent examples of dangerous criminals in this country killing innocent Americans. We had an 18-year-old college student in Chicago, a young lady who was shot in the back by a dangerous criminal who had released in that sanctuary city and first released at the border under Joe Biden. They opened the border wide for 4 years. Just yesterday, or in the last 36 hours or so, an 83-year-old man was pushed onto the subway tracks and run over by a dangerous criminal illegal alien. This has to, the Republicans are not going to party to this. They've taken hostage the funding process.
I need to know everything there is to know externally and internally. I need to know what to look for, the names, because Lisa's usually telling me all these names. I was like, who are these people? I don't even know Chuck Schumer's name until yesterday. And Chuck Schumer wasn't even on my mind.
Processes of government so that they can impose their radical agenda on the American people when we can't have any part of it. This gambit that was done last night is a joke. I'm quite convinced that it can't be that every Senate Republican read the language of this bill, and I'm going to just read you one excerpt of it because it's pretty alarming, and it says everything that you need to know in Section 4. This is on page 2 of the bill. This is an actual copy of the bill. That excerpt. It says, quote, "The contents printed under the headings of this bill, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, Border Security Operations, under the heading of U.S. Customs and Border Patrol and Protection, shall have no force or effect for purposes of this Act, and amounts specified in the final bill under the subheading Border Security Operations and under the heading U.S. Customs and under the headings of U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement in the Department of Homeland Security shall be zero." We're not doing that. And it is unconscionable to me
One
that
part
the
of
Democrats
life.
would force some sort of negotiation at 3 o'clock in the morning and try to hoist this upon the American people and then get on their jets and go home for their holiday and pretend and think that we're going to go along with that. So we're going to do something different. We're going to do the responsible thing. Republicans are going to continue to govern and do the right thing morally, legally, and politically. We're going to take care of those who take care of us. The employees in the Department of Homeland Security have gone without funding checks for 42 days. It's the second longest shutdown in U.S. history.
Okay.
Bested only
I
by
got
the
you.
longest shutdown in
I
U.S.
got you.
history that these same radical Democrats hoisted upon the government in the fall of last year. 2 days they've gone without pay. We've had,
Each of the
by some estimate, 100 TSA agents who have resigned from their jobs, and who could blame them? They've gone half the fiscal year without a regular paycheck. We can't ask that of anyone. And the lines around the airlines and at the airports have been wrapped around the buildings because of all this turmoil. We are very...
Hold on. I want to say what I want to say, but don't you guys once again control the House? Don't you guys control the Senate? Don't you guys control the presidency as well as the Supreme Court? Somebody quote me if I'm wrong.
very grateful to have a strong commander-in-chief in the White House who has taken real leadership. President Trump has already ordered by executive order that TSA agents will be paid, and that machine budget is working through that to make sure that that happens, and we will reduce the lines and the waits at the airlines, and we'll make sure that those who are protecting us are paid. But what we are going to present and what we're going to vote on this floor, our Rules Committee is working through this right now. We're going to put a clean, simple, continuing resolution that will go until May 22nd. It's just a number of weeks to allow those who sacrificially serve the country and protect other Americans. All these agencies, 10 agencies under the Department of Homeland Security, will continue at their current funding levels to make sure that they are protected. We're going to send that over to the Senate, and we hope that they'll accept that. They can do it in record time just like that with the unanimous consent. They could do that as early as Monday. In the meantime, TSA will be paid, we will have done our jobs, and we will protect the homeland, because that is responsibility of Congress, is to protect the American people. We're not...
Yeah, but you're not going to pay TSA unless the Democrats sign that Save America Act deal. One of you is going to budge. One of you is going to budge. We'll see.
Playing political games on this. We encourage some of our Democrats, hopefully we'll have some of our Democrats in the House who go along with this and stop the pain that's being forced upon these people. The reason that we can't accept this ridiculousness, okay, is because we're not going to risk not funding the agencies that keep the American people safe. The Department of Homeland Security is the third largest department in the federal government. It has 10 agencies beneath it. It's not just TSA, it's also FEMA, the Coast Guard, all these agencies that keep us safe. We must fund them. This is not a game. Republicans will do the responsible and honorable thing, and Democrats will continue to play politics.
Mr. Speaker,
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. You and John Thune are not on the same page. You came out and criticized Democrats. He was the engineer behind this. Why are you guys not on the same page? And are you not extending the shutdown? If you were to accept what the Senate had passed, this could end tonight and the TSA lines would shrink.
I wouldn't call John Thune the engineer of this. Chuck Schumer and the Democrats in the Senate. Chuck Schumer and the Democrats in the Senate have forced this upon the Senate. Protect the House? Let me answer the question, Chad. I have to protect the House, and I have to protect the American people. That's our responsibility. Our colleagues on this side understand this is not a game. We're not playing.
What are you protecting? This is the frustrating thing about this. What are they protecting? Should I get upset? This is all confusing. Should I get upset about this? You people in the chat, you tell me, is this worth getting upset over? especially as a black, is this worth getting upset over? You know what I'm really upset about? Where are my likes? Can I have some likes? Can I have 10 likes, please? Please, pretty please. Please, 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 please.
Borders, and they want criminal illegal aliens in the country. They do not want to enforce the law. They want to literally defund. You just read it in the bill here. They want to give $0 to enforcing federal immigration laws and keeping the border secure. That was the biggest issue in the election of 2024. That open border that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris hoisted upon the country. And 20 million, by some estimates, 20 million dangerous criminal aliens, including that number, obviously murderers. They're putting it, and then these big blue.
Okay, what does that have to do with getting our people back to work? Please explain to me. How is this bitching and complaining about past tenses, about complaining about yesteryears, have to do with getting the TSA workers back to work?
Cities that have sanctuary city policies, they're releasing these people onto the streets. They released them over the border when they came over under the Biden years, and that is the turmoil that we're facing right now. The very serious threats to the homeland and everybody. It's not just long lines at the airport, it is the danger and safety of everyone. We'll talk more after this is passed. We'll get it done.
Has the president endorsed this plan? Has the president endorsed this plan, Mr. Speaker? Has the president endorsed
I spoke to the president a few moments ago. He understands exactly what we're doing and why, and he supports it. Yes.
Thank you. The American people are just sick and tired of every one of you, both Republicans and Democrats, come to this podium and blame the other side. People have been standing in lines 3, 4, 5 hours at a time. There's TSA workers that are selling their plasma.
Yeah.
At what point is a leader on either side going to stand up and say, we have a path forward that everyone needs? This vote today will extend the shutdown under any circumstances.
No, it won't. No, it won't.
And it was
If it,
unanimous vote by
thank you. Let me answer the question. I'm glad you brought it up. The House Republicans have now voted that today will be the fourth time to Homeland Security. This is not party game. Look at the Democrats. But yesterday afternoon, we gave them a chance to fund Homeland Security. You know how many Democrats voted yes? 4 of them. They want to use people as pawns. People are not pawns. These are workers who are serving the country, many of them without pay, to make sure that you and your families are safe. And
No, I get upset. So he's not telling the truth. He's not telling the truth. Again, people, do the Republicans control the House, the Senate? Give me a second. Y'all calling it already. Y'all call, but let me cook. Let me cook. Do they not control the House, the Senate, the Supreme Court, and the presidency? Don't they control? Don't they control? It's supposed to be three branches of government. Don't they control all that? Like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe. Don't they? I guess that. Yes, people can tell the truth and shame the devil, but obviously the devil is at work. The devil is at work. Let me go to more delusions of grandeur over here. Trust a random guy on the internet. Trust my foot in your ass. I ain't got time to be clowning today. I ain't got time to be clowning with you today. Go ahead and sit in the corner and think about how I'm gonna. Never mind. Let's see. Praying for America. What should we be praying for? Should we be praying for better food? Should we be praying for lower gas prices? Because right now, the gas prices are slightly up. If you are, but if you have diesel fuel, I mean, that's kind of different. But if you're paying for regular gas, I mean, it's, get yourself a couple of coupons, you'll be okay. But if you're living in LA, I feel sorry for you. If you are living in LA, ladies and gentlemen, I do feel sorry for you. Because traffic, you gotta park, you gotta pay for parking on the streets. Jeez. To live and die in LA. To live and die in LA. Where did I find that? Let me see. Where did he? No. Damn it. Hold on, y'all. Like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe. I seen something. By the way, I am streaming on 3 streams right now. I'm just doing a couple of tests. Let's see. What the fuck is this all about? Is this
conservatives fighting each other, vying for position in the party, planning out the future, which I love. I think that's great. But then the other thing about it is you have to come to conclusions. CPAC is a great place to do that. And you need to unify, and you got to see the stakes, and you got to do the one thing that Republicans and conservatives never want to do, which is actually get together and move in the same direction toward a goal.
So that sounds like dinner at the Slap House. But you're right. We're all individuals. I almost like, if everyone's doing something, that's when I say this must be the wrong thing. I want to do my
King's
thing.
Day.
I want to do it my way. That's really a virtue.
Y'all got it.
It's a feature, not a bug of the American right, without question. On the American right, there are the neocons and the libertarians and the traditionalists and the populists, and I would describe that obscure political monikers are the right-wing version of gender pronouns. Progressives and super progressives and John Fetterman. So it's basically.
Give Barb some kisses, please. Kisses and hugs, please. Someone, Barbara, some kiss and hugs, please.
Do you like John Fetterman? He's growing on you. There you go.
I'll take him. In fact, I was at the State of the Union this year. John Fetterman even wore a suit. It was becoming more Republican by the day. It's great. But it did make me think, especially coming back. CPAC is always a great way to take stock and say, okay, where are we? What have we done? How have we advanced? And I think the craziest moment I have ever personally had back is a few years ago. It was 3 years ago now, today, when it was the height of the transgender craze. And I said, look, transgenderism is either true or false. And it's not true. It's obviously false. So for the good of society and for everyone, we need to get rid of this ideology. We need to eradicate it from public life. And I leave the stage. I thought it was a fine speech. It was okay. People liked it. It wasn't a huge deal at the time.
I don't think that would suit right with the LGBTQ community. Learning more and more about politics every day.
And I read these headlines. They said Michael Knowles incites a genocide at CPAC. I said, well, I never considered myself much of a genocider, but okay, that's a surprise. It was so radical then to say that transgenderism isn't real. And then within a year or so, my colleague Matt Walsh made a blockbuster hit movie, What is a Woman? Totally took the issue by storm. You had politicians passing law on this. And then just yesterday, it's totally fitting, the Olympics announced it was banning transgenderism from the game. It was great. And so all of that got me thinking. I said,
what do y'all think about that? What do y'all think about that? I don't want to offend nobody here, but you know where my stance is at. But what do y'all think about that? What do you think about them removing transgender from sports? which I don't know why that's in sports in the first place, but what do you think? Clowns, everybody denied the clown's desperation. Deny the clown is desperate. Okay. People on this stream are missing half the show because they don't see the video you're playing. Okay, damn. All right.
Okay, it's not, we don't really talk about transgenderism anymore. You know why? Because we won on the issue. 3 years ago, it was the most radical thing. You'd be accused of genocide if you brought it up. 3 years later, it's over. We won. We eradicated it from public life entirely. It worked. And I thought, this is one thing conservatives, we don't do it nearly enough. We don't count the wins. We focus on the losses, the way things could have been better. You can always deport more people and lower taxes more. But guys, we've won so much. 675,000 formal deportations last year, another 2 million self-deportations. That's a big win. That's 3 million in 1 year. Guess what? Joe Biden was letting 3 million illegals come in every single year under his presidency. These are big wins. Crime, way, way down. You've got a total unity in the administration. Vice President, the Secretary of State. You know, sometimes the conservative talk.
The issue with Trump is he's still operating on the delusions of grandeur. He still thinks he's won a war in which it's not a war. I don't even know what to call it, but I know it's not a fucking war. Because 1 minute he's politicking, the next minute he wants to fight, then he wants to negotiate, then he wants to fight again, then he wants to wave the white flag, and then give what was it? He gave them 10 days. He gave Iran 10 days to come up with some good negotiations for Americans. What can we negotiate? Negotiate an ass whooping. That's what you're gonna negotiate. Like, let's get the likes up. Like, share, subscribe.
My fellow podcasters, they just want to fight and babble and throw spears at each other. But there's a lot of wins on the right now. We're heading into very dangerous midterms, very dangerous presidential election. The left literally wants to kill us, and they've expressed this time and time again for 6 months. Conservatives, we got to get on the program, unify, keep our eyes on the prize, and win, because we can do it. We've done it before, and we can do it again.
So, not to blunt what you just said, but there are differences, and you know, we have media here that are saying they're trying to make a difference into a division, into a civil war.
Yeah.
And I think what we have to do is not go back and say, oh, no, there's no differences. There's tons of differences.
Of course.
How boring would CPAC be if it was all unity, agreement, vanilla, right? We wouldn't want that. You guys, we invite people who have different perspectives, want to focus on different things. You all have your own opinions, which is why we have a straw poll. I believe that's something that the left has lost. They don't have differences. They have a hive mentality. It's lockstep. They're dishonest in front of the camera. Because behind the camera, you hear these people talk, and you start to see like humanity a bit. Like, I like this, I don't like that. But when that camera's on, they are all on the same line. Now, why is that? Is that because someone's paying them all to be like that? We'll one day figure out what is behind the fact that they stay lockstep. We've got to figure out this word unity. If you think about America's founding, right? It was about unity and being one while having individual states and different political parties. And tease that out for us a little bit. Like, embrace what you want, but understand the bigger picture.
Yes, no, you have to have a sense of a common political project. Actually, Matt, it's great that you brought up the founding, because you think all these great men of the founding, Washington, Adams, Jefferson, Madison, John Jay, all the rest of them, These were big personalities. They had a lot of disagreements, one amongst the other. Just listen to the way that John Adams and Thomas Jefferson talked about each other at different points. It got a little bit rough. Kind of reminds us of, some of the Trump insults in the primary of 2016. It was pretty brutal. And then you add Hamilton into the mix. You get weird sex scandals. It's, there's a lot there. And
out of all these presidents that he just mentioned, out of all the presidents that he just mentioned, did any of these presidents beg to be put on a coin or on a dollar bill? Did any of these trick bags beg to be put on a coin or a dollar bill? Trump just signed. He just signed something that he is going to be on a coin. No, you cannot, Barb, you cannot find any president that has begged to be on a coin, let alone a dollar bill. I'm still looking for the Harriet Tubman 20. Me personally, myself. Why would you put Harriet Tubman on a $20 bill, on the front of the $20 bill, but then still have Andrew Jackson on the back? Stupid.
But these men, despite all of their differences, they recognized that they could use each other's skills to advance a common cause. So you think of a guy like Adams, he's the most conservative founding father. Well, guess what? Adams is the guy who asked Thomas Jefferson to draft the Declaration of Independence because he knew Jefferson was a much better writer than he was. They all kind of knew how to bring their differences into a kind of a harmony, into a complementarity.
Why does it always take a more liberal person to be more artistically creative? What is that?
It's been going on for hundreds of years.
I don't know.
Very frustrating. It's because we've got our life in order. They're a little bit more emotional, maybe. But regardless, that's, I think, what the American right has to do. Consider.
You know what your problem is? Your problem is you kiss too much white folk ass. That's what the deal is about most black conservatives, is they like to kiss a whole bunch of white ass and hoping that they get something out of the deal. And I always ask this question of many of my conservative Negroes, plantation Negroes. What has he given you so far? What has Trump and this regime of I was going to say pricks. I got to watch what I say. What is he giving you? Not a goddamn thing. But his ass to kiss every single day. What happened to all that Nicki Minaj shit? What happened to that? I think you need to stop listening to Trump and start going after the people who start kissing his ass. Try Nicki Minaj. I mean, talk to Nicki Minaj. Talk to that broad. Isn't she still trying? She's still trying. Never mind. Oh, this goes to something a bit more important. A bit more important. I don't even know what it is. Nothing but lies. Correct. Correct. And now rumor has it that Iran is, they're making a boom boom. I can't say the actual word because YouTube is super sensitive. Let's see here. A total waste of ICE agents going to or TSA agents. We all know that. We all know this. I was looking for something. Hold on. Trump delivers remarks to farmers. Oh, let's see what he had. Let's see what this trick has to say about the farmers. Let's see.
Ladies and gentlemen, the president.
No other house like it. I've seen them all, believe me, and this one is tops. But I'm thrilled to welcome all of you to the South Lawn for the single largest gathering
Like,
of
share,
American
subscribe.
farmers
Like, share, and
that
subscribe.
the White House has ever seen, has ever had. And rain or shine, and you don't mind rain, shine. The one thing about farmers, they don't care about that weather. They get out there, it makes no difference. But rain or shine, no one is more grit or greater spirit than the American farmer.
I think the whole damn Republican and Democrat ain't nothing but a bunch of cults, to be perfectly honest with you. One promises fortune and fame, the other promises to keep you out of trouble. One promises, better roads and better hopes and better futures. Meanwhile, you're losing your fucking job for what? You got 7 million people in one end. You got 10 million people, or 10 million people, 3 million people. I mean, and then they're supposedly allegedly creating jobs. Okay. All right. Oh, by the way, before I play this, did anybody get their $2,000 check? Did anybody get their $2,000 check already? I just want to know. Did anybody got their $2,000 check from Trump? Because he did promise $2,000. You can get no damn $2,000 check, please. Who got their $2,000 check? Put a one in the chat. Put a one in the chat if you got a $2,000 check from Trump. Put a one in the chat if you got a $2,000 check for Trump.
We love the American farmer. I just gave you $12 billion. I don't know if you know that or not. You make enough money, it doesn't matter to you, right? And we just provided $12 billion, right, Brooke? For the American farmer. You think Biden would have done that? No, he wouldn't have done that. We're delighted to be joined by Secretary of Agriculture, who's doing a fantastic job, Brooke Rollins. Brooke, thank you very much. Secretary of Health and Human Services, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Robert, Bobby. EPA Administrator is doing such an incredible job. He's getting those costs down for you, and he's always protecting the environment, but he does it quickly. A real superstar, Lee Zeldin. Thank you, Lee. Great job. And someone everyone loves, and they love in particular the job she's doing, Small Business Administrator Kelly Loeffler. Kelly, thank you very much. Thanks as well to John Hoeven, Joni Ernst, Pete Ricketts, along with the chairman of the House Agricultural Committee, G.T. Thompson. And I tell you, they're fantastic people, that they are warriors. And representatives, Jim Baird, Randy Feenstra, Monica De La Cruz, Brad Finstad, Michelle Fishback, Mark Messmer, Victoria Sparks, Frank Lucas, Tracy Mann, Zach Nunn, Adrian Smith, and Derek Van Orden. They're all out here. They want your votes desperately, desperately. They're only here for your vote, you know that. But they're here because actually they did a great job. Those were people that were the most, I would say, the most aggressive for the farmer, which is what we want. Other than me, they were right in there. I was more aggressive than any of them. But also with us is the CEO of Tractor Supply, Hal Lawton, who will soon open the company's 2,500th store in honor of America's 250th. Hal, thank you very much. It was great to meet you at the Oval Office 2 minutes ago. I also want to thank the president of the American Farm Bureau Federation, Zippy Duval. I've known Zippy for a long time. Zippy's been with me right from the beginning, right, Zippy? From day one, he liked Trump. He said, well, I don't know, but I just had a good meeting with him. I'm gonna go with Trump, right? That was in 2015. And very special thanks to the proud young parents of two beloved American institutions, Future Farmers of America and 4-H. Two great things. For 4 disastrous years before I took office, sleepy Joe Biden and the Democrats in
What
Congress
did I tell you?
crushed America's farmers with the worst inflation in the history of our country. Prices were going through the roof. So bad, it was so bad what they had done to our country. And by the way, in so many other ways too, borders and everything else. But they crippled the American agriculture industry with brutal restrictions and failed to negotiate even a single new trade deal on your behalf. Not one trade deal was negotiated on your behalf during the Biden administration.
You know, George Carlin said something profound. He said, one who has a large-sized penis always goes after the one with the smaller sized penis, but the smaller sized penis guy, pause, said that no, my penis is bigger than your penis. And they all have a prick waving penis fight. And this is what the Democrats and the Republicans are doing. Is like, right now, my George Carlin has a weird sense of humor, but he was right. He was right on the money with it. Because all they're doing is just bickering back and forth. But this is Trump. This is Trump at his best. Whining and bitching and moaning. And he just mentioned his name a few minutes ago. Obama. He should just wear should just wear a freaking t-shirt that says, Obama is a joke. And then wear a pair of pants. Obama is a bad guy. Wear some Obama drawers. I took a piss in this shit in Obama drawers. Oh, we're going to continue.
And we happen to be the exact opposite. We have so many trade deals, we don't know what the hell to do with them. We need more lawyers. But now the American farmers, ranchers, growers, and producers once again have a true friend and champion in the Oval Office. And in my first year back in the White House, farm income has soared by 20% very quickly. I repealed the Biden EPA's ridiculous water restrictions. You had water restrictions that gave you everything but water. Yet it needed a little water. They wouldn't give you it. It was crazy. To keep federal bureaucrats off your land and out of your pockets, it's a big deal. With the help of Republicans in Congress, we passed the largest tax cuts in American history. Already 45% of filers have taken advantage of our new tax provisions with an average refund so far of almost $5,000, a record. In fact, we passed them and people are just starting to see how important they are. It's amazing what's happened. The numbers are...
Did anybody get their $5,000 check? Anybody get their $5,000 check?
They're reporting that it's much more money than I thought. I tell you, I call it the Great Big Beautiful Bill. Is a great big beautiful bill, and it's especially in terms of your tax refunds and your taxes, because it's the lowest tax we pay. It's the biggest tax reduction in the history of our country. It's also the biggest regulation reduction in the history of our country, which as farmers, you know what that means. It means a lot of good things. We made the small business tax deduction permanent, benefiting 98% of America's farmers.
Listen, okay. I have a question real quick, and let's get the likes up, people. Let's get the likes up. Right? I have a question. Where is he getting all this money from? Even with the oil, even with the tariffs, which the Supreme Court already took your little toys away. That's funny. I got it from my mama. That's cool. That's cool. Lisa, could you handle that for me, please? Hell, fire and brimstone over this little bitch. Anyway. Any freaking who. Ooh, I could have been your daddy, bitch, but the dog already beat me up the steps. Anyway, where was I at? Where are you gonna get the money from? You can't get the money from the tariffs because, like I said, the Supreme Court already took your toys away. You're not getting the money from the oil because you got to pay the people that necessarily put you on. And you're still fighting over Iran. You just spent another $175+ million for ICE to go to 3 places: Houston, New York, and Houston, New York, and what was it? Atlanta, not Atlanta. New York, Houston. I guess it's Atlanta. Yeah, Houston, New York, and Atlanta. Houston, New York, and Atlanta. So there's 3 places that you just sent ICE to, and that costs money. You spent money on drones. You spent money on more. You spent money on missiles. You're allegedly running out. You're allegedly running out of bullets, but I don't know how true that is. You lost men. You lost bases fighting with this so-called Iran, which we don't know why you're fighting. Even though you've been bickering back and forth for over 20 years or something like that, there's still no. Let me share something with you real quick, if I could. Let me share something with you real quick. Do you know that this bum had the nerve to ask for help? Just ask for help with this war in Iran. Let me show you in detail how many people are actually helping him. Show you the little detail. Nobody. France is not helping you. Italy's not helping you. Oh, let me see. Gotta go here. Let me go to real quick. It's not gonna take me long. People who want to help Trump. Let's see. Italy. No. Spain. No. Japan. No. France. They're hesitant. Canada. Nah. Australia. Hell no. China. We know here. They're too busy aligning themselves with Russia. NATO is tired of the mess. Yes. And North Korea will check back with you. And you say, the hell with it. And then you got into a little hissy fit. You already have people resigning from the administration. John Kent resigned from the administration and left a long, lengthy, nasty note. So the delusions of grandeur are going to continue to go round and round and round and round and round. We hoped Europe plenty. They need to step up. Iran would end up threatening them or their interest soon enough. I just go by past history. When I look this stuff up, I just literally go by past history. maybe you ought to look up 1979. 1979, Iran versus the United States. See where you get you. All right, let's continue this tirade.
And ranchers, and thanks to bonus
Like, share,
depreciation,
subscribe,
farmers
like,
can
share.
now deduct 100% of the cost of new tractors and all equipment in the first year. In other words, you buy a tractor, you deduct the whole price. Normally it goes over a 38-year period. This is slightly better. You got these tiny little deductions that weren't even worth it. Now you can do it at one time. Only Trump could have gotten you that one. That was a big thing. And in the first term, you know, we had the greatest economy in the history of our country in the first term. We are blowing them away right now. And by the way, we're doing really well in Iran, just so you understand. You know,
he's been hacked.
how good is our military? How good is our military?
Half of your
Very
people
importantly,
are dead.
we saved 2 million American farms from extinction by virtually ending the unfair estate tax. We've ended the estate tax, or as they call it, the death tax, and you can now keep your family farms in the family. We had a problem. See, these are all people that are clapping that love their children. If they didn't love their children, they wouldn't care about what I just said. But most of you, does anybody not love your child? Because that would be the one person that would have clapped the other way. That was a big thing. I would see farmers, and they pass away. They love their life. They love this. There's something about a farmer, maybe more than anybody else. They love that. They love the soil, and they love their farms. And they'd pass away, and they'd have wonderful children, and the children would get hit with this massive tax bill for the value of the farm. Sometimes the farm is very valuable, but the cash isn't so readily available. And they'd go out to a bank and they'd borrow money, and they'd borrow and borrow and borrow to pay the tax. They'd be working for 20 years to pay it off. If they had a bad season, they'd lose their farm. We lost it many, many times. And you'd have actually many, many suicides over it. They would actually commit suicide because they couldn't stand the concept of losing their family farm. And I ended the death tax, or the estate tax, on family farms and small businesses. So I think you're appreciative of that. It was a terrible thing.
There has not been any negotiation, people. He's too busy arguing and bickering amongst his own cabinet. And of course, you're going to get the yes men and the yes women, the Pam Bonnies of the world. And we haven't forgotten about the files, bro. We haven't forgotten about the files. But I have to I have to show you this. It's near dear to my heart. You can only laugh and keep from crying. That's just it. You can only laugh to keep from crying. I just want to show you this real quick. No, I don't want to see the shit about the pen. Get ready to pay for stuff. Hold on. Word? Hold on.
Of peace and a new class of battleships after himself. And then, also the Trump accounts, the Trump Gold Card Visa, the Trump RX, the Trump route for international peace and prosperity between Armenia and Azerbaijan. There's also the road from Mar-a-Lago to the airport. That's now President Donald J. Trump Boulevard. And there was also the made-up FIFA Peace Prize and the secondhand Nobel Peace Prize nomination.
He's trying to either undo or usurp Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and Obama. The delusions of grandeur.
That apparently was not enough. So now, in fact, Republicans in Congress just created a brand new award called the America First Award, and they gave it to Trump first.
That's this beautiful golden statue here, appropriate for the new golden era in America.
A golden statue for himself from his friends. Yeah, normal stuff. And actually, for more normal stuff, share to spread the word, get full updates on Substack, links in bio, subscribe for free, and follow to stay in the loop. Trump's name is about to be on every dollar bill in America. The Treasury just announced that this summer, all new paper currency is going to carry the president's signature, something that has never happened in the 165 years since the modern dollar bill was created. Where traditionally, it was the treasurer and the treasury secretary, but now Treasury Secretary Bessent stays, the treasurer is out, and a sitting president's on your cash for the first time ever. And seemingly,
boy, I might just end up a passport, bro. I might just, oh, thank you. Thank you. I might just end up a passport, bro. You know why? Because if I ever see Trump's face on a dollar bill, I might just burn that son bitch. I might just have to burn that son bitch. He's trying to put a patent on world peace. He ain't trying to put no patent on world peace. He just all over the fucking place. And then he allegedly postponed this fake war due to the SAVE Act. He's still stuck on the SAVE Act. So it's like, we're not signing any other executive orders until I get my SAVE Act. I'm like, okay. And then he's gonna point to the pen, he's gonna point to the curtains, and he's starting to get, as the psychologist said the other day, and I'm still tripping on this, right? He said that this dude is still suffering from, I'm just gonna say it, delusions of grandeur. I don't know what the terminology of what he is suffering from, allegedly suffering from, but I know he's delusional as fuck. He is delusional. Let's see. Calls Gavin Newsom stupid. I don't know much about Gavin Newsom. If you're a Gavin Newsom person, you know, oh, here it goes. Here it goes right here.
For the first time in American history.
Just found it. Now, guys, pay attention. Pay close attention. If you think this is crazy now, just wait. Just wait. Just give me a second. Give me a second. Give me a second.
The first time in American history, the signature of a sitting president will soon be featured on U.S. currency. The Treasury announcing the decision to celebrate the nation's 250th birthday this summer, saying President Trump's signature is not only appropriate, but also well-deserved.
The president is a masterful brander of things, and so I think this is just a long line of what he does.
The first $100 bills with Trump's signature will be produced in June, followed by other denominations. Earlier this month, a federal commission whose members were appointed by the president approved the design for a gold commemorative coin with Trump's image. Federal law bans the image of a living president from appearing on currency, but the administration argues that doesn't apply to coins. As for Trump's famous signature, he spoke about it yesterday.
See this pen right here? This pen is a Sharpie.
He says he's saving big money using Sharpies to sign documents instead of expensive traditional pens.
They have $1,000 pens. And you hand pens out, you're signing and you hand them out, you're handing them to all these people. Sometimes you have 30, 40 people. And they were $1,000 a piece. For $5, I get a much better pen than for $1,000. And I can hand them out.
We're told past presidents used pens made by A.T. Cross, which can cost up to $265.
Trump coin lawsuit.
The design of this commemorative coin.
Wait a minute. Trump coin lawsuit. Wait a minute. Why not push back? Made his lawyer base file lawsuit over Trump. Let's see where this rabbit hole goes. Hold on. Let's see where this shit goes. Give me a second. Everything he touches. Ever heard that song? I got the Midas touch. Everything I touch turns to gold. Stupid. Let's see what this shit is all about. Fair use.
Commemorative coin expected to be made of gold and featuring a picture of President Trump has been approved by the Commission of Fine Arts, and the Treasury Department hopes to have the U.S. Mint start production soon. It's being called a commemorative coin to mark the 250th birthday of the United States, but former federal employee and retired lawyer James Ricker says that's not legal.
It goes against the statutes as they are written.
Under federal law, Title 31, which details money and finance, says only a portrait of a deceased individual may appear on United States currency and securities. It's that law that prompted Ricker to file a civil lawsuit at the U.S. District Court in Portland.
It's black and white. It's very straightforward. It's very clear that it's prohibited.
Federal officials claim a subsection of the law acts as a loophole, allowing the Treasury Secretary to use his discretion in some cases, including the minting of a commemorative gold coin featuring a living president. But Ricker argues that the coin would be considered a legal tender and says the Treasury Secretary's discretion is very limited.
He can't override the statute that prohibits, that is the prohibition of having a living person on a coin. It doesn't work that way. There's no exemption within his discretion to allow that to happen.
Ricker understands there are more important issues our country is facing, but he says this is an issue he's able to tackle with his experience as a lawyer. He explains he plans to go the distance with the lawsuit.
I see a violation there, and I don't think they should get away with it. They push boundaries. They, being the administration, push boundaries all the time, and why not push back?
Officials say the coin will be a limited production with final details still waiting to be determined. In Portland, Vince Ibarra, Fox 12 Oregon.
Look up what? Look up ranking. Look up ranking member. Statement is sharing about the face of office. Oh, okay. She said the delusions of grandeur. He knows, and he knows perfectly good and well that his time is
For the first time,
his time is coming. So he wants to do any and everything he can to erase Black history. Congress, what was it? Rankings. Done. Sorry about that. Ranking member rankings statement. What was the statement about? Statement. Opening statement. Okay. Rankins opened a statement about the on us Haitian office. Damn. I'm confused. I shouldn't hear it. Oh, I got it right here. Is this it? This looks old.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I'll be somewhere in between the chairman of the
You talking
full
about
committee and the
this?
distinguished chairman of the subcommittee. Thank you, Director Squires, for joining us today. As head of the PTO, your job is to promote stability in the market for goods and services by protecting trademarks that are used in interstate commerce. In pursuit of the mission, the USPTO has for decades been removed from political intrigue, favoritism, and controversy. By keeping politics out, prior presidents and USPTO directors ensured that applicants had a fair and honest system to rely on. It seemed to change last year. You and President Trump injected partisan politics into the work of the PTO, from working to strip trademark examiners of any right to collective bargaining, a right that they'd enjoyed for many decades, and firing the members of the patent and trademark oversight bodies, to refusing to respond to congressional requests for information. Your tenure seems to be threatening the traditional integrity and non-political nature of our system. You recently took an extraordinary and unprecedented action. Earlier this year, the USPTO itself filed trademark applications on behalf of Donald Trump's ill-defined private multi-billion-dollar global project called the Board of Peace. President Trump has declared himself chairman for life of this elusive entity. He's promised billions of dollars from the taxpayers to the board, although Congress has not voted a single dollar for it. And he has secured billions of dollars from mostly corrupt foreign governments, including Saudi Arabia, Kazakhstan, Azerbaijan, United Arab Emirates, Morocco, Bahrain, Qatar, Uzbekistan, and Kuwait. Beyond that, there's not much we know about this shadowy venture. We don't know its basic corporate structure. We don't know whether it's a registered entity anywhere in the United States or in any other country. We don't know who controls the billions of dollars in its bank accounts. We don't know what countries those bank accounts are located in. We don't know who will conduct audits and oversight of the board, if anyone. And we don't know what the president intends to do with this massive, secret, unaccountable slush fund while he's in office and after he leaves. Yet, when the Board of Peace decided it wanted to secure a trademark for its name and for its logo, a move that should have required it to identify the legal entity that actually runs it and controls its billions of dollars, you stepped in. You personally filed the trademark applications, allowing USPTO to stand in as a straw trademark holder to cover up for this slush fund that appears to put both billions of US taxpayer funds and billions in payments from foreign governments into the pocket of the chairman for life, Donald Trump, who will control it. The president set up a board.
So mind yourself, he's not just stealing money from American people, but he's also getting money from ding, 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 ABACs.
That likely violates both the foreign and the domestic emoluments clauses, and now you're helping to run the operation as far as we can tell. What's more, I'm not sure that either you or the Trump administration realize what you're confessing by filing a trademark application. You're admitting that the Board of Peace is not a legitimate governmental body, but rather a commercial enterprise set up by President Trump. Our trademark law began in 1879 when the Supreme Court struck down a trademark law that applied to any and all organizational designations. The court ruled that Congress could do so only under the Commerce Clause. So when Congress passed the Trademark Act of 1881, it was written to apply only to marks used in interstate commerce.
I mean, we ain't shocked. We're not shocked and we're not surprised. We all know look, he's going to get money however, whenever he can. He's what? I don't think he's in the $1 trillion range yet. He's trying to get there, though. He's trying to get there. But didn't he get a lawsuit put on him? Well, he has many of lawsuits being put on him. Many of lawsuits. But again, nobody can touch him because of immunity. I don't know what you people. You know what? I ought to try that little phone conversation, by the way. I ought to start talking to y'all. I ought to start talking to y'all for real. How many people are up for that? Because the delusions from some of y'all, not all of you, but some of you, the delusions are at an all-time high right now. What is he promising you, the American people, the so-called Trump supporters in my chat room? What is he promising you?
The modern version of the Lanham Act in 1946 makes clear it only protects trademarks used in interstate commerce. Section 1052B specifically forbids the registration of any insignia of the United States or any state or municipality or any foreign nation or any other governmental body. So by filing for a trademark, you're admitting that the Board of Peace is not really a governmental entity at all. It's a purveyor of influence operating for profit with apparently $1 billion admission fee, at least that's what's been reported in the press. A money laundering scheme to pocket the billions, all made in a global shakedown in the name of peace. Now, as far as I can tell, the USPTO has just 9 trademarks. 4 are various logos for your office, some of which read USPTO, others have the full name of the agency written out. IS Patent and Trade Office. 3 more are for the phrases "Go for real" and "You're smart, buy smart," phrases that were part of a public awareness campaign that the USPTO itself ran with the National Crime Prevention Council. The other 2 are now for the mysterious Board of Peace, which has no organizational relationship, I believe, whatsoever to the USPTO. So by agreeing to act as President Trump's phone a friend and using the PTO to register a trademark on behalf of a third party, it would seem you're violating a cardinal principle of the Lanham Act, which explicitly lays out in subsection B that only, quote, a person who has a bona fide intention under circumstances showing the good faith of such person to use a trademark in commerce, who may request registration of the trademark. That's quite a problem for the agency whose role it is to administer and police the registration of trademarks and to administer disputes about them. One can only imagine this decision will get challenged, and there will be litigation over the mark that you have now claimed as your own for the PTO before your agency, which is charged with being the neutral adjudicator of disputes about trademarks. The only reason anyone ever registers a trademark is to prevent competing uses. Why would the Trump administration tell you to file for this registration except to suppress anyone else's trademark related to the word peace? The field is crowded with existing registrations by other educational purveyors of global peace. To give a few examples I found online this morning: World Peace Table, World Peace Network, Project Peace, Peace Vision Global, Global Peace Initiative, Global Peace Foundation, International Peace Center, Peace Network, Peace Action, the Peace Trust, Greenpeace. Any one of these organizations would have a strong case to sue for cancellation of Trump's Board of Peace trademark on the grounds that it dilutes and infringes their own pre-existing for peace facilitation services. And also, of course, that this mark is not registrable at all, since it purports to identify a governmental entity and not an organization in interstate commerce. Not only would you have to decide whether Trump has a defense to prior users' opposition to his marks, you would have to rule on any offensive use of trademark law by Trump against any of the other groups. Let's say he moves to attack Greenpeace for infringement of his commercial trademark or opposes registration of any new organization that uses peace in its name. Who would adjudicate this? You would, your office. You're both the owner and you're the judge of any rights that you have as an owner against anyone who wants to identify their organization with the word peace. This is not just a disreputable use of the trademark registration process, it's the first step in giving Donald Trump and his subordinates a monopoly on use of the word peace, to make the very notion of peace unthinkable if it departs from control of the new big brother who now owns it. If President Trump can't win the Nobel Peace Prize he craves because he plunged us into an aggressive war of choice in the Middle East, now he'll just own the word peace instead. I wrote to you last week, Director Squires, asking about this elusive entity, an unprecedented, baffling situation. If there's a reasonable explanation for the USPTO's conduct here, we'd like to hear it today. Because if you simply filed on behalf of the Board of Peace as a favor to the president, then that's a serious problem. A decision like that doesn't just drag the USPTO into covering up for a slush fund that may violate both the foreign and domestic emoluments clauses. It's bad for the integrity of our trademark laws. When people lose faith in the fairness and objectivity of our system, it begins to fall apart. So I'm not just troubled that you may be violating the basic trademark rules. I'm troubled that in violating the rules to help Donald Trump, you may be acting as a political operative in a way that will destroy our neutral system for regulating source-identifying trademark rights. The trademark system is designed to protect everyone. If applicants think that the rules change for the wealthy and the politically well-connected, they're much less likely to believe the system can work for them. I look forward today to finding out how you justify your agency registering a commercial mark for this alleged governmental entity, if that's what it is, how you intend to resolve disputes with the dozens of past and future registrants of peace organizations, and what you intend to do to restore the professional, nonpartisan reputation of the USPTO. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.
I'll revisit that video sometime tomorrow. I'll revisit that video because there was some key points. I know. There were some key points in that video that people need to pay attention to. And to all you so-called Trump supporters there in my chat, ask yourself this question. No, that's too basic. I need an advance. I need something advanced. Well, let me give you this, and y'all can go back to y'all regular schedule. This was just supposed to be a test of the emergency broadcast system. Does he give a shit about Americans? Does he really give a shit about Americans? Because if so, why don't the oil that we have here, in the United States of America, why aren't we drilling? Why aren't we drilling? And according to sources, you didn't want to be president in the first place. You did not want to become president in the first fucking place. History does not lie. History does not lie. History does not lie.
To a full-page newspaper ad appearing in many papers criticizing the administration's foreign policy. Rumblings in the Trump camp point as far as the presidency. Could the Manhattan magnate be eyeing the White House, or is he just calling a bluff? Are you a Republican, Donald?
I'm a Republican, yes.
So if there were politics, it would be as a Republican?
It would be, I guess, as a Republican, but I don't see that there will be politics.
Why the ad, then? I mean, you said you wanted to say it. There's a lot of ways you can say things. I guess an ad is one way. You could have called up shows like this who would have been trying to have you come on. Why now?
Well, it was very easy. I was tired, and I think a lot of people are tired of watching other countries ripping off the United States. This is a great country. They laugh at us. Behind our backs, they laugh at us because of our own stupidity and the leaders. I mean, what we have a Persian Gulf situation. You saw what happened today. Billions and billions of dollars are being spent on getting oil for Japan, and they're not paying anything for it. Essentially, they're paying nothing for it. We have tankers going back and forth that our men are protecting, losing their lives. I mean, they're losing their lives, Larry. We're spending billions and billions on protection, and those tankers are going over to Japan. It's just preposterous. I watched the Kuwaiti oil minister the other day laughing as he was explaining.
I have to admit, he's been consistent on a lie. He's been consistent on that very same lie. Yeah, he's taken up after Tricky Dick. Old Tricky Dick.
How much money they intend to make with the Bridgeton, which has been a total disaster, the Bridgeton. And I said to myself, isn't that a shame? He's talking about how much money they're going to make, and here we are. He's smiling and laughing. Why don't we get some of it? Why is it that we're protecting? We have frogmen, we have helicopters, we have aircraft carriers, and all sorts of ships all over the Persian Gulf, so that this man and his little group can make a lot of money. I think it's ridiculous.
Well, one of the reasons we say we're doing it is because we've been doing it, and that all previous presidents have endorsed doing it. I guess the kind of thinking of an entrepreneur is because somebody else said it was right doesn't make it right, right?
Larry, the country is losing $200 billion a year. $200 billion. This country cannot continue to lose
Drill, baby, drill. That's the proof of the pudding in itself. The only reason why you're losing money is because you don't drill oil, but you have the nerve to take oil from other countries, smaller countries, not big countries, but you know you're going to lose. You're technically on the smaller countries because they can't fuck with you. And they know they can't fuck with us. They know they can't. But a war like Iran, you didn't plan for it. You didn't plan for it. You didn't strategize for it. You just went in there, hands on deck. And now hundreds of lives are being lost. And for what? Is it worth the price of admission?
$200 billion. Japan is one of the wealthiest machines ever created. Saudi Arabia, and it's not, hey, let me tell you, I'm a big beneficiary of Japan. They buy my apartments in spades. They're fine people.
The same apartments that you wouldn't rent to black or brown people. All those apartments.
But they must be, they're laughing to themselves as to what's happening over here. We're not kidding ourselves. They're laughing to themselves, Larry, as to what's happening with this country.
But Donald, a lot of people feel the way you feel, and a lot of people maybe with as much money, or certainly some people with as much money feel the way you feel. Why did you go public?
Because somebody had to, Larry. I watch it again, and it's a very important point. Japan is a money machine. Saudi Arabia is a money machine. Kuwait, these are money machines, the greatest ever created. The United States is, if it were a corporation, it would be bankrupt. It's losing $200 billion a year. For years now, it's been losing that. What right do we have to go out and defend? Why aren't these countries, these wealthy money machines, paying us for the defense of their freedom and their nations? Why aren't they paying us?
We are kind of the world's keeper, are we not?
I don't believe we should be. I think Japan should certainly make a contribution. Japan is one of the reasons they're so successful is they don't have to worry about defense, because why should they worry about defense when the United States will do it for nothing? I mean, it's crazy. Saudi Arabia, I mean, you saw what happened with Saudi Arabia. We're going...
Well, you get the point. Y'all get the point. Y'all get the point. Y'all get the point. He is very, very, very consistent in his bullshit. I will definitely give him that. All right, people. It's been a blast, but I got to get up in a couple of hours, and I will definitely see y'all in the back end. If anything special comes up, well, you know me. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Like, share, and subscribe to the damn channel. Oh, boy.